Lately, I've been having some issues with the places that I take my kids and some of the other involvement from either volunteers or some of the staff or even other parents. It's become kind of obnoxious how, I guess, helicopter-esque people have become. Helicopter is a term used in Love and Logic to identify one of the three different styles of parenting. Love and Logic describes parents as either helicopter, drill sergeants, or caring consultants. And of course, the goal is to become a caring consultant. A drill sergeant is a parent who yells and orders and makes threats and makes demands and things like that. But then there's also the helicopter parent, which I feel that the majority of American parents tend to fall into the helicopter parenting style, which is where they're literally hovering over their children all of the time and making sure that they don't experience any pain, frustration, sadness, discomfort. All of their needs are constantly being met. And they're almost, bubble children in a sense, and not really trusted to be able to figure out things on their own, trusted to problem solve, trusted to make strong choices, or trusted to keep themselves safe. And I always tell parents with my children that they don't have a death wish. My child doesn't want to run into a wall any more than I want him to. He doesn't want to be punched by another child any more than I want him to. We need to trust that our children are born with natural instincts to not only to survive, but also to thrive. And our expectations for them are the measuring stick for what they're going to be. If we expect success from them, then they will, of course, achieve success. I'll give you a couple of examples. I took my kids to a water park the other day, and my son Cannon, who's 2.5, was playing with a stick. And a lifeguard comes rushing across, and she says, "Oh, honey, oh, poor baby, put the stick down. Oh, my goodness, I want you to be safe." And he looked at her, and I could tell that he kind of jumped back a little bit. He wasn't sure what the fuss was all about. And I intervened, and I said, "He's 2.5. He can hold a stick." And she said, "Oh, I just want him to be safe." And I said, "He'll be safe with it." And then he kind of moved on. And of course, he uses the stick to pretend that he's hammering parts of the pool together. And then it was a judge's mallet and a microphone and whatever else he needed it to be. And then when we were at the Children's Museum yesterday, both my boys were walking on the stairs. I was probably a good 10 feet from the both of them, which I guess is an uncomfortable distance for most people to have. But this place is completely closed in. There's no way my kids could have, escaped. They were both going down the stairs as I was getting a drink of water. I knew where they were. I knew where they were going. I also know that my children, if they can't see me, they will stop where they are and wait for me because that's just the type of relationship that we have, and that's their comfort level. And I overheard a staff member going, friend, please stop. Oh my goodness, there's not an adult around you. And she stayed there and guarded them in the most awkward stance, as if she was scared they were going to run away. And I think, if this was any other child, they probably would have, because they would have felt threatened. When kids feel that they are unsafe or there's a threat, they usually will fight, flee, it's like fight or flight, or freeze completely. And what my child did with this adult was just to freeze and look up at me like, what do I do? And I could tell that he was inhibited. He was wondering, am I not safe? Are the stairs not a safe place for me to be? As he was carefully taking one step at a time and holding on to the rail, I knew that he could do steps. 6 months ago, I would have been right behind him in case he fell. But now he's very comfortable with the steps. They weren't wet. It wasn't raining. He didn't have on weird shoes. There's no reason that he couldn't do the steps safely. And I came around the corner and she says, "Is he with you?" With her eyes real big, as if I can't believe that a mother wasn't right there by him. It's kind of an odd thing for me. But what we're doing when we treat children this way and when we become overly involved is we are making them inhibited. I felt myself becoming more and more anxious during our time there, as I do a lot of these places that I take my kids, because of the responses of the other people, the other parents. Oh my gosh, I want him to put his shoes on. Is he safe? Is the ground hot? I think he's running around. It's shaded. If the ground was hot, I imagine he would let me know. I don't place my children down on the floor with bare feet if it's hot. I wouldn't do that. Are my kids barefoot most of the time? Absolutely, because the ironic thing is that it is actually safer for children to be barefoot because they can grip better. They've got more control over their movements. And I'm not going to put them in an unsafe environment. I'm not going to let them walk barefoot in a back alley. I'm not going to put them onto hot ground. I mean, there are some other things like that. I do believe in letting kids experience hurt and discomfort and frustration. I don't advocate for children to be injured. But the way that some other parents are acting sometimes, unfortunately, is going to make our children robots who don't know how to think or feel without someone letting them know how to think or feel. We tend to make a very big deal out of things, and we end up having these over dramatic children who are very inhibited, who don't take initiative, who are very insecure and unsure of themselves. And unfortunately, this is becoming a very detrimental thing. And so I'm kind of on a mission to be kind of a bad mom in a sense, in that I'm going to let my children do things that are countercultural. I let them be barefoot. I let them get hurt. I posted a video on my Instagram the other day of my son climbing a tree and falling out of it. And I was there 3 feet away watching him fall out of the tree. He wasn't high. He was probably 2 feet, maybe 3 feet at the most. But he also knows how to fall. I knew that he was going to fall, and I knew that he would fall in a way that he could catch himself. And he didn't cry, he didn't get hurt, he got up and he did it again. And that's what we want for our children to learn, that people are not always going to be there. You need to be responsible for your own body and your own movement. There's a rule of thumb in the play therapy community that is parents who always remember will raise children who always forget. And the theory behind that is that if children know that the adults in their lives are always thinking for them, always doing the preparing for them, the worrying for them, even the feeling for them, why should they? There's no need for them to be responsible if somebody else is doing it. My stepson, I remember when he came to live with us, one time he came in on a Friday, and he was 12, and there wasn't much I really needed to do for a 12-year-old, I didn't think. And then Sunday morning it kind of came to me, I wonder, has he taken a shower? I haven't heard the water run, or I wonder, has he brushed his teeth? And I called upstairs to him and I said, hey, have you taken a shower since you've been here? He said, you didn't tell me to. I said, okay, it's probably time to take a shower. Have you brushed your teeth? You didn't tell me to. And it was such an odd response to hear that, but then I realized that in his world, he was always told what to do. He was always told what to eat and what to wear and how to go to bed and when to brush his teeth and things like that. And I realized that when I had my own children, then I didn't want to do that for them. I wanted them to do things because it felt right, because they were responsible, not because an adult in their life was telling them what to do, but because they themselves had goals for who they wanted to be and how they wanted to care for themselves. And that's my goal. You can follow me on thatgirlwithwholeheart.com, or you can follow me on Facebook under Whole Heart, or That Girl with Whole Heart. I'm also on Instagram under the same name. Thanks for following.